We will have to agree, everybody cannot be winner. It is one person that will have to emerge.
All is set for the rescheduled APC governorship primary in Ekiti State.
But their contributions were not only economic, contributions to the lives and well-being of so many.
And remains of late Islamic scholar Sheikh Isiaku Rabiu laid to rest in Kano. Hello and welcome to NTA Network News. I'm Bimbo Loyede. Jennifer is reading with me tonight from Lagos, Kemi from Ibadan, and Agatha from Ado-Ekiti. President Muhammadu Buhari is back in Abuja after his medical consultation in the United Kingdom. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports that the president, who returned a day earlier than scheduled, arrived in Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport at about 7 o'clock this evening. On hand to receive him were the Minister of the FCT, Mohammed Musa Bello, Senior Special Assistants to the President on Media and Publicity and on Diaspora Matters, State House Permanent Secretary, the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations, and other senior government officials. The President spoke briefly to NTA News before leaving the airport.
Your Excellency, you came back earlier than expected. What did your doctors tell you, sir?
It's not earlier than expected. You are the one who are pressing for a statement. I just went for further medical checkup and I'm all right.
The President, as you can see, he's back 24 hours ahead of his scheduled return. That tells you that there's really nothing to worry about, as we said from the beginning. But then, this is politics, and we use this opportunity to put the opponents on notice. Are you ready for 2019? President Buhari is ready to go. Come, let's go.
The Minister of Agriculture, Audu Ogbe, and his counterpart in the Ministry of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, have said the agriculture revolution under President Muhammadu Buhari is not only creating job opportunities, but also producing young millionaires. This follows a statistic which shows that close to 1,000 millionaires have emerged in the last 3 years, most of them through rice, wheat and cassava production, processing and marketing. Musa Baba Aliyu interacts with some of the young millionaire farmers in the southeastern part of the country.
Migrating to cities like Aba, Onitsha, Port Harcourt and Owerri to earn a living has been the dream of most young Nigerians from farming communities in this part of the country, as they believe these are the places they can make a fortune.
Most of them used to abandon their family farms, believing that cities are where they will hustle and make it. However, the wind of change in agriculture that has been blowing for almost 3 years now proves millions can be made in rural areas, not necessarily in the cities. 34 years Eze Kingsley is into rice production. He says he got 2 million naira profit in less than 1 year. He started the business.
You cannot pay me 2 million in 6 months. That's what I'm saying. If you are well trained and you know what it takes in agriculture, it's the highest paying venture.
Agriculture now is a business.
Cynthia is another young lady in Abakaliki, Ebonyi State, who indicated interest in cassava stem business. She is expecting a turnover of 1.5 million naira from this farm after harvest.
And by the time I will sell, I'm expecting to make much more profit than those that are looking for white-collar job.
In Anambra East, here comes Okonko Benjamin, who says rice production is profitable for him. He has since constructed a story building to compete with his age group in the city.
I'm planning to work 15 hectares this year in order to support my nation.
Previously, a bushel of rice was sold at 10,000, but now you can get it at 5,000 naira. People has enough to eat. We make our money.
More millionaires are expected to join the queue after harvest this year. From Owerri, Imo State, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
In the meantime, Nigeria's Finance Minister, Kemi Adeosun, says government is working hard to maintain debt service costs. Speaking at the quarterly briefing on the state of the economy, The minister disclosed government's willingness to continue to focus on tax collection to meet development needs. Leah Katung Babatunde has the details.
Nigeria's economic space has had to undergo reforms to curb leakages, wastages and theft since the inception of this administration. This is with a view to, among other things, mitigate the effect of sliding incomes. Finance Minister Kemi Adeosun says the nation's accounts books are feeling the impact of the VAT's extension, which has so far dragged more than 5 million additional taxpayers into the net. The whistleblower policy, she said, is responsible for the current trend in revenue mobilization. This month, 439 million naira is being paid to about 14 persons for tax evasion tips, with 13.8 billion naira recovered.
The whistleblowers in the past have been about stolen money. With the extension of the voluntary asset and income declaration scheme, of course, and our general narrative about tax, we're getting far more tips from on tax evasion, which of course is a crime against us all.
The Debt Management Office puts Nigeria's external and domestic debt at about $18.9 billion and 15.9 trillion naira as at March 2018. The minister is sure the burden is not too much, as government's borrowings are tied to massive infrastructure provision.
And those are, roads and rail that will be here for the next 30 years. So you're matching long-term assets and long-term liabilities. And the construct is that the economy will grow, will improve our tax collection and be able to service and repay the debt.
She, however, added that there is a need to realign priorities with the 2018 budget yet to be passed. In Abuja, I'm Leah Katung Babatunde, NTA News.
And on business news, 8 states received $17.8 billion in first quarter of 2018, just as stock market records positive results. Details with Amina Nujaim.
Welcome to Business News segment. I am Amina Nujaim. 8 states record 32 projects worth over $17.8 billion investment inflows in the first quarter of 2018. This is according to the Nigerian Investment Promotion Council, NIPC. This is against 6 projects in 4 states that received $6.38 billion in the first quarter of last year, as contained in its investment report for 2018. Oil and gas, transport, construction, information and communication technology, manufacturing, and solar plants were mostly favored sectors. Lagos, Kano, Niger and Ogun states were identified as preferred investment destination. And finally, the stock market makes a rebound on Friday, its first gain this week. The OSHA index added 0.26% on the last trading day of the week to close at 41,022.31 basis point, while market capitalization stood at 14.859 trillion naira. Volume of trade was 214 million, valued at 4.234 billion naira in 3,675 deals. That report concludes business news for this hour. Good evening.
The Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, has confirmed that indeed a letter requesting for an exclusion order on Senator Bassi Albert Akpan has been written to the Home Office Secretary of the United Kingdom. The letter, dated 28 March 2018, was signed by Okoye Obonuobla, chairman of the Special Presidential Investigation Panel for the Recovery of Public Property, and copied to the Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami. In the letter, Mr. Obonuobla says the circumstances under which Senator Akpan acquired the properties listed in his assets declaration form, dated 8 August 2015, were suspicious. Senator Akpan is said to be under investigation by the Special Presidential Investigation Panel for the Recovery of Public Property for illicit acquisition of assets and money laundering. Mr. Obonuobla therefore requested the Home Office Secretary to issue an exclusion decision on Senator Akpan from the United Kingdom and its territories. The senator's legitimate earnings as a public officer for the past 10 years were said to be far below the value of the assets he acquired in the United Kingdom. The National Judicial Council has recommended Justice Michael Goje of Adamawa State High Court for compulsory retirement for purported gross misconduct. The council, headed by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onogen, took the decision during its 86th meeting in Abuja. Dele Atumbi reports.
The National Judicial Council took the decision on the alleged refusal of Justice Goje to proceed on redeployment to Mubi Judicial Division of the Adamawa State High Court since July 2017. After receiving the complaints of the Chief Judge of the state on the alleged gross misconduct of Justice Goje, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onogen, directed the Adamawa State Judicial Commission to investigate the matter. The outcome of the investigation informed the decision of the council on the affected judge. The council also directed Justice Michael Goje to refund all salaries received from July 2017 to date. Pending the compulsory retirement, the NJC suspended the affected judge from office. NJC also set up panels to probe 25 judges following petitions from the EFCC. The council also dismissed petitions written against some judges after the investigations for lack of merit. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Leaders of the All Progressive Congress in Rivers State have assured their members that the party's local government congress scheduled for tomorrow will go on as planned. This is in reaction to a purported High Court order stopping the local government congresses. Kingsley Amajiri reports.
Some civil rights groups and youth had besieged the State High Court complex Friday in an alleged peaceful protest against perceived plot to scuttle the APC Congress built to hold tomorrow. Leaders of the party in Rivers State, while reacting to the purported court injunction, said the allegation against some aggrieved APC stalwarts in the state to jeopardize the chances of the party ahead of the 2019 elections is no longer hidden, insisting that the local government congresses will hold as scheduled.
Very disappointed. Those disgruntled members of our party who cannot seek redress within the internal arrangements of the party.
Ordinarily, it should not have been concerned with what was happening in the court today if they did not have a collaboration thing between them and the group you all already know within the APC.
They ordinarily should know that when a thing has started in this type of events, you can't stop it. And stopping it is trying to create unnecessary tension and logjam.
We have said it time without number. If you want to serve a process on us, serve it on us. They didn't serve a process on us. So you're talking about a hearing in which we were not involved and an adjournment for ruling today of which they've not heard from us. To me, that's a travesty of justice. It will not stand.
As at the time of this report, NTA News gathered that arrangements for the local government congresses across the 23 local government areas have been concluded. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Let's now join Agatha Egwari-Ojo in Ado-Ekiti for situation reports on the rescheduled APC governorship election primary. Hello, Agatha.
Good evening and a warm welcome to Ekiti. All is now set for the conduct of the rescheduled Ekiti State Governorship primary election of the All Progressives Congress, the APC, this Saturday. Now, to ensure a successful election, the party's electoral committee met critical stakeholders and aspirants in the contest who all agreed on the new modalities for the primary election. Salihu Abdullahi reports.
Activities building up to the rescheduled APC governorship primary indicate that stakeholders of the party have realized the need for a collective dialogue to fight for a common cause in view of the significant role of the party in the Southwest and ahead of the 2019 elections. Participants at the stakeholders meeting with the APC primary election committee say the new guidelines will add value to the exercise.
is the procedure and the process to ensure that this exercise is not only transparent but credible.
Because based on observations on all the occurrences of last week, Saturday, this particular interaction is going to help both the committee and the party.
We will have to agree, everybody cannot be winners. It is one person that will have to emerge.
And as part of his engagement ahead of the APC primary election, Governor Almakura met with his host governor, Ayo Fayoshi, who assured him of support for a peaceful primary election.
The election of APCs are internal affairs, but to wish them well, wish them success, is a phase they have to pass through.
As at the time of this report, 32 aspirants will participate in the exercise. From Ado-Ekiti, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And here in the studio to shed more light on preparations for the election is the chairman, APC Ekiti Primary Election Committee and Governor of Nasarawa State, Umaru Tanko Almakura. You're welcome to the Network News, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. Good evening, viewers.
Now, it's less than 12 hours to the primary election. What are the new modalities put in place to avert a repeat of what happened last Saturday?
Okay, thank you very much. We are good to go. We put all the necessary modalities to ensure that the mishap that happened during the previous exercise will not be there anymore. You are not aware that we decided to use the stadium, given its flexibility and size to accommodate about 2,600 delegates. But unfortunately, the stadium is a bit porous and vulnerable, especially at a time like this when the weather is unpredictable. So we decided that we'd make a tent right within the center of the stadium. But this time around, we have gone completely to an indoor theater where virtually all the activities will be held within one roof. So even if there is rain, there wouldn't be any disturbances. Secondly, the issue where we gave the agents the leverage to be close by to monitor, to ensure that this exercise is transparent and free and fair, was abused. For that reason, we decided that the agents cannot come near the polling area except when we commence the process of sorting and counting. So I believe with this arrangement in place, we'll be able to beat all the shortcomings, the challenges we had to face during the last exercise.
Now, are there any changes in the number of aspirants, apart from Mr. Ojudu, who pulled out of the race?
As far as we know, we have not been communicated to officially as regards any stepping down by any aspirant. As far as we're concerned, we are still working with the 33 aspirants that have indicated their interest. I have heard from the grapevine and from the papers that one of the aspirants, Femi Ojudu, has stepped down. But we will continue unless we get official communication that Ojudu is not in the race. As far as we are concerned, he is in the race. So we have 33 aspirants gunning for this most important position in the state.
All right, Your Excellency, I have been speaking with the chairman of the APC Ekiti Primary Election Committee, Governor Umaru Almakura, on preparations for the exercise tomorrow. Thank you, sir, for your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And at this point, we rejoin Abuja for continuation of the network news. Bimbo, you're on.
Thank you, Agatha. This is NTA Network News. We now pause for some messages, and the news continues in a moment.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام.
The second edition of the annual Ramadan lecture organized by NTA Katsina in collaboration with Al-Qalam University Katsina, Wale Hausa Foundation and Confanium FM Katsina will take place on Saturday, 12th May 2018, equivalent to 25th Sha'ban 1439 after Hijrah. Venue Al-Qalam University ICT Center Katsina. Time 10 a.m. Guest speaker Sheikh Muhammad bin Osman, Kano-based Islamic scholar. Topic: implications of the use of social media on the morale of youth and Muslims in Nigeria. Discussants: Dr. Muhammad Muslim Ibrahim, Dr. Mustapha Muhammad Al-Misri. The general public are hereby invited. Signed, Publicity Committee.
The federal government of Nigeria has directed the Department of Petroleum Resources, in line with its regulatory oversight function of the oil and gas industry, to embark on the recovery of all debts owed to the Federation by exploration and production companies. Consequently, all concerned companies are strongly advised to take necessary steps to offset all the outstanding payments due on or before 25th May 2018, or be sanctioned accordingly by the federal government of Nigeria. Signed, DPR Management.
Take a good look at our world today and you'll discover something interesting. More and more drivers are choosing Mobile Motor Oils. You see, as engine performance becomes more important than ever, the vehicle owners are coming to expect more from their engine oils. They're demanding more mileage on a single oil change. They're demanding longer-lasting engines and smoother rides. They're demanding the best. And with Mobile, that's what they get. We raised the bar for motor oils with the Mobile Super 1000. And with the Mobile One, we raised it even higher. And because it's made using the most advanced engineering processes, Mobile Motor Oils leave your engine super clean, increase its durability, and keep it so well protected, it never stops running. So success for you depends on continuous movement. You need engine oil, engineered for that purpose. Mobile, performance at its best.
Make it mobile.
Dettol team is visiting schools to teach children how to protect themselves from diseases. Do you know how we get illnesses like diarrhea, cough, and cold? No! They are spread through germs which are everywhere. You collect germs that cause diseases. You pick up germs from any surface, like when you don't wash your hands after going to the toilet, while playing. And then you can get sick because of germs. That's why you need to fight germs to stay healthy by washing your hands and taking your bath with Dettol soap to protect from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Wash, wash, wash your hands. What you have to do is bath, bath, bath yourself. Dettol soap every day. Wash, wash, wash your hands.
Do you know that the Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, what the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant to achieve our creed as we promise. We shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris.
Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility.
This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
Welcome back to the Network News. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo was in Kano earlier today to witness the turbaning of the Minister of Interior, Abdulrahman Dambazao, as the first Baradan Kano. The Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II, called on the Baradan to be a good ambassador of Kano Emirate. Mansour Aliu Hassan reports that the occasion was graced by high-profile personalities.
Arrived at the palace of the Emir of Kano to rejoice with one of them, who was conferred with the chieftaincy title of Baradan Kano, which is first in the history of Kano Emirate. It was a title conferred to Princess in Sokoto Caliphate and was adopted by Kano Emirate. Emir of Kano Muhammad Sanusi II says the honor is a recognition of the outstanding contribution of Abdurrahman Bello Dambazao towards development of Kano and the country as a whole. He said Kano Emirate Council is proud of his track record as a military personnel and minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He urged him to see his new appointment as Baradan Kano as called to service. Emir Muhammad Sanusi II said Kano Emirate Council will continue to rely on his useful advice that will bring development to Kano. Dignitaries which graced the occasion includes Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, service chiefs, members of business class, diplomats, heads of paramilitary and government agencies. Among them is the Director General of the Nigeria Television Authority, Malam Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, who was represented by the General Manager of NTA Kano, Malam Bashir Sanda El-Adwa. Mansur Aliyu Hassan, NTA News.
Members of the public have been urged to always verify the authenticity of information they get before believing or sharing. This advice was given at a public lecture to mark the 2018 World Communication Day in Abuja. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday reports that the event was organized by the Catholic Archdiocese of Abuja.
Respect for truth and citizens' rights to objective and reliable information is an obligation of the media and journalists alike.
Editors and reporters,
serving and retired media experts from the public and private sectors in Nigeria joined their counterparts world over to celebrate the day. One issue that dominated discussion is the challenges as a result of fake news.
Some of the even pictures are so gruesome that even if they are true, they should not be shared.
Keynote speaker Reverend Father George Husani advocates a better remuneration for media practitioners as a panacea for fake news and unbalanced reportage.
So that they may discharge their sacred mission of fair coverage, objective reporting, courageous analysis of, and commentary on events with the highest sense of fairness and justice.
Special advisor to the President of Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, said journalists are pivotal to a peaceful coexistence of the people.
When you are plying your trade, you should be conscious of your responsibility to promote peace.
Journalism for peace, the Nigerian example, is a theme of the day, which is 52nd in the series, with a goodwill message from the head of the Catholic Church, Pope Francis. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
4 ECOWAS countries have presented situation reports to the ECOWAS Parliament. Correspondent Joseph Orok reports from the ECOWAS Parliament plenary in Abuja.
The country's situation reports, which is part of the draft programs of the parliaments, provided opportunity for the members of parliaments and representatives of the countries to throw more lights on the socio-economic and political developments of their countries. And so, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, and Guinea had their turn. Members of parliaments from the 4 countries focused on security, human rights, environment and climate change situations in their countries, and other issues.
With regard to Africa, Guinea remains firmly committed to the fight against terrorism in northern Mali. After Gangan 1, 2, and 3, the Gangan 4 contingent has already been constituted.
The Ivorian government conducted 2 missions to inform and sensitize Ivorian refugees and exiles in Liberia.
The Ghana Beyond Aid agenda is being pivoted on 5 pillars. These are enhancing domestic revenue mobilization, encouraging high private savings, and expanding financial inclusion.
The country's report, which is presented in line with the terms of reference of the ECOWAS Parliament, is in furtherance of the efforts to integrate the 25 countries of West Africa. In Abuja, Joseph Orok, NTA News.
Now for some reports from Lagos, the Center of Excellence. Jennifer is our guide. Jennifer?
Thank you, Bimbo, and a warm welcome to Lagos. Nigeria is leading a regional campaign to discourage irregular migration in the sub-region. Consequently, a handbook called Passport to Safe Migration has been launched. Mohammed Abdul Qadir witnessed the advocacy program involving the Nigerian Immigration Service, SEME Command.
SEME Border is the busiest
international border post in the whole of Africa with the heavy traffic of persons and goods through this corridor. This is why the government, concerned about the problem of illegal migration, chose the border for the public presentation of passport to safe migration.
This is what is in vogue worldwide. We record over 25,000 genuine travelers, recorded travelers from this axis on a monthly basis.
The 32-page document provides a detailed guide for Nigerians on regular migration.
A lot of people find themselves in this web not because they actually wanted it. Some is because of ignorance, some is because actually they don't really know how to go about safe migration.
The campaign is being driven by a tripartite partnership made up of the Nigerian and Spanish governments as well as ECOWAS. The issue of migration is a global phenomenon, and it is on record that 25 foreigners categorized as irregular migrants were refused entry into the country through semi-border flank by the Nigeria Immigration Service, Semi-Command, within the first quarter of the year. From Seme in Lagos State, Muhammad Abdul Qadir, NTA News.
The recent ban on codeine by the federal government following the abuse of the drug has been receiving commendations from Nigerians. Apart from codeine, which has been making headlines recently, the abuse of tramadol and opioid pain medication used to treat severe pain is on the increase. Hingino John Adams tells us more on this emerging trend.
The habitual use of drugs not needed for therapeutic purposes solely to alter one's mood, consciousness, or to affect the body function is on the increase globally. Statistics show that over 190 million people abuse one form of drug or another the world over.
When you get to the field, you feel sorry for our youth. They abuse tramadol. I've had an instance of a person we arrested that will mix tramadol with soda and just want to feel high.
This is how bad drug abuse has become in Nigeria. The abuse of codeine in the country was so alarming that the federal government took the swift action of banning it to curb the inherent problems caused by the abuse. The sad story, however, is that even with the ban on codeine, facilities like this will continue to be home for some as a result of an emerging trend of the abuse of tramadol.
It has effect on the heart, it has effect on the liver. The liver is the organ that detoxifies so many of the drugs we take. So what do you have? By the time you start taking an excess of tramadol, you are making the liver work more than usual.
The major issue with substance use and abuse in this country, especially of medications, is the unprescribed selling of these medications.
In 2017 alone, the NDLEA seized 96,136.68 kilograms of tramadol in Lagos.
These containers were examined and we found out that they contained tramadol with a large strength.
Mrs. Felicia Ikechiku is a counselor.
We discovered that immediately they start, to quit becomes a problem.
While codeine has been banned, stakeholders advocate that the sale, prescription and use of tramadol and other therapeutic drugs should be closely monitored to curb abuse. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
You're still watching NTA Network News. More reports ahead after this timeout. Please stay tuned.
Brought us as usual.
As usual. You have no problem.
For the three
you are welcome, sir.
As usual, yeah?
Welcome. You take that one. You take that one. You don't understand? We want Nigeria homegrown rice. Finish. You don't have? You don't have?
Join the rice revolution today.
No other rice that tastes like Nigerian rice. Are you sorry? That's the Nigerian rice we are talking about. Chocolate made in Nigerian rice. Healthy food. I'm going to bring Mrs. Mom. to come to chocolate rice of made in Nigeria here. And see how it are made.
Correct.
And how they are cook it.
Correct.
Homegrown rice are good for your health. It boosts our economy and give employment to our people.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
All TVs say picture quality, but never mention the most important color, black. It uncovers the hidden details of nature, brings out the richness in all colors, and reveals life. With self-lighting pixels, only OLED TVs make perfect black, and perfect black creates perfect color. LG OLED TV.
When you hear that sound, you know that Nigeria's most authentic newscast is about to begin. NTA Network News, breaking the news for over 40 years.
This is the Network News. Petroleum tanker drivers have assured the government and Nigerians that they will always support efforts to ensure the seamless distribution of petroleum in the country. The union gave the commitment at the 4th Quadrennial Conference in Abuja, where incumbent National Chairman Otumba Salimon Oladiti returned unopposed to serve for another 4 years. Correspondent Lydia Sampson reports.
Gathering of critical stakeholders in the energy sector looking at the petroleum products distribution chain. The union's national chairman, Otumba Salimon Oladiti, says the theme, Road Infrastructure in Nigeria, Impact on Petroleum Products Distribution, was deliberately chosen to highlight one of the major challenges the body faces in serving the nation.
How our efficiency and effectiveness in delivering petroleum products to every nook and cranny of the country.
If they ask you again, what does change mean to tanker drivers? Please tell them that it means the revival of construction works on the roads that take you to your business places.
Speaker after speaker described the tanker drivers union as key stakeholders in the nation's economic development.
I shall remain very committed to all good things desired by this wonderful branch.
Tanker drivers are the driving force in the efficient distribution of petroleum products and thereby the main backbone of the nation's economic development.
We need the support of Group PTD to reduce crashes on our roads.
But they had a trying time when we had the scarcity. Work 24/7 throughout the period of a crisis, including weekends and public holidays.
The conference was preceded by the inauguration of a state-of-the-art hotel located in Utako district of Abuja, described as a unique way of giving back to its members. Representative of the Minister of Works and Housing, Chukwuemeka Uzo, inaugurated the hotels. Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Mobil Producing Nigeria joint venture is to spend 13 billion naira to execute 3 major community assistance projects in Akwa Ibom State. Marion Vincent Oko, who was at the inauguration, reports that the project will attract social and economic benefits to the state.
Projects earmarked for execution are Technical Skills Acquisition Facility at Community Technical College, Ikorakata, Mkpadenin Local Government Area, Trauma Center to be sited at the University of Uyo Teaching Hospital, and Engineering Faculty Complex at the University of Uyo. Chairman and Managing Director, Mobil Producing Nigeria, Paul Magroth, stressed that the Skills Acquisition Center will train about 100 youths annually, while the engineering facility will train 2,000 students, mostly from Akwa Ibom State.
We also know that we can continue to count on the support and cooperation of the government as we collectively work towards making these projects a reality.
General Manager, Public and Government Affairs, Mobil Producing Nigeria, Paul Arinze, noted the efforts of Akwa Ibom State government in the success story of the joint venture operations over the years.
The reason we are doing what we are doing today is because we want to make an impact that is visible. These are truly important projects and would require the support of everyone.
Governor Domi Manuel, who was conducted around the project locations, commended ExxonMobil for the giant stride.
I can reassure you that there will not be any interference or any interruption from the community. I can speak that on behalf of the youth here.
Members of the benefiting communities described the move as a mark of responsiveness on the part of Mobil Producing Nigeria and indeed the joint venture. In Uyo, Marian Vincent Oko, NTA News.
Now Ibadan is our last port of call, where Kemi is standing by. Over to you, Kemi.
Thank you, Bimbo, and a warm welcome to Ibadan. Preparations are in top gear in Oyo State for the local government elections slated for tomorrow, Saturday, 12th May 2018. Funke Bidamito was at the Oyo State Independent Electoral Commission, OISEC, and reports on the state of preparedness for the elections.
A visit to the Oyo State Independent Electoral Commission office reveals that both sensitive and non-sensitive voting materials are already available for distribution, while members of staff are all set for the election. A senior official of the Electoral Commission said the commission had trained members of staff, while some of the voting materials are already being distributed to various polling units. Some members of the public speak on their expectations.
We don't already enter our voters cards, and tomorrow morning we'll go register ourselves, and in the evening we'll go vote for the person we like.
I've collected the voters card, so then I can be able to vote for the person I like. Fully prepared, because I have my PVC with me.
105 candidates have been accredited for the chairmanship position in the 33 local government areas and 35 local council development areas in the state. Members of the public have been assured of their security by various security agents, while the electorates are urged to come out and vote for candidates of their choice. In Ibadan, Funke Bidamito, NTA News.
Beneficiaries of a national cash transfer program in Kwara State have expressed their appreciation to the federal government for the initiative. This was when they were receiving their stipends in some local government areas of the state. Aisha Abubakar Yahya reports.
The beneficiaries of the National Cash Transfer Program converged on their various local government secretariats to get their money. Report says 10,000 naira is paid to a beneficiary every 2 months, which means they get 5,000 naira per month. The program is conceived to address key social challenges in the country, as well as provide financial support to poor and vulnerable households.
2 billion is being pumped into the economy every payment cycle, and this money goes to the grassroots where the people are. And if the people are guided on how to manage this money, as we are doing with the cash transfer facilitators, the chances are they are going to recycle this money, and the money is going to benefit their immediate community by instation the national economy.
We have a very beautiful and a successful story to tell. The program has not just only impacted in the lives of the people, it has also improved the economy of Kwara State.
Some of the beneficiaries speak.
I've benefited a lot from the scheme.
I eat, I take care of my children.
In Kwara State, a total number of 14,440 people are benefiting from the program. Aisha Abubakar Yahya, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. It's back to Bimbo in Abuja for more on the network news.
Thank you, Kemi. Time now for some more messages. Please don't go away.
Experience, they say, is the best teacher.
They hold us from the sea. Thank God that we came back home. They should not go there because it's not good. It's a very bad place. So they just my advice.
Even now, sir, they are shooting the boat they are going to use to go Italy. May they stop it. Our country is good. Our country is a blessed country. Now I know our country is a blessed country. I know before I for not travel from Nigeria to Libya. I know how much I spent.
Let these personal experiences serve as a lesson to all who would repeat their mistakes. A word is enough for the wise.
This is a public service announcement brought
brought to you by NTA.
Welcome back. Let's join Obiageli Ogwoke for stories from across the globe.
There, and thanks for joining us. In Kenya, the desperate search for dozens of people still missing after the country's dam burst continues. Amid fears that the death toll may rise, an investigation into the tragedy was launched this Friday. And away from Africa, U.S. President Donald Trump says he will meet North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in Singapore on 12th June. The U.S. leader tweeted, "We will both try to make it a very special moment for world peace." And from Malaysia comes a report that new Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad has confirmed the king has agreed to pardon a politician whose case has gripped national politics for 2 decades. Anwar Ibrahim, once considered a potential future leader, was jailed on charges of corruption and sodomy after falling out with the government. And that's it from here. The news continues.
Super Falcons begin preparations for AFCON qualifiers against Gambia as Rafael Nadal sets new win record on a single surface. Ayodeji Makinde brings us more on Sports Update.
8 out of the 26 invited players by Super Falcons coach Thomas Denebi had their first training session at the Package B of the Abuja National Stadium ahead of the two-legged qualifier against Gambia for the 2018 Women AFCON in Ghana.
If we can win that 2 games, and then we qualify for the African Nations Cup in November. So it's a very important games.
The two-legged encounter will be decided in Banjul and Nigeria between the 4th and 12th June 2018. Chairman of the league management company, Shehu Diko, has assured football fans in the country of concerted efforts at safeguarding referees at match venues against molestations by irate fans who take to violence as a means of expressing their grievances. The football administrator was speaking at the conclusion of a 5-day FIFA Member Association Elite Referees and Assistant course in Abuja.
We have deducted points on 2 clubs in the league for interfering with the match officials. It's ensured that we cannot tolerate this. The match officials has to be safe, has to be given the environment for them to be able to know that I will give the best I can and I will go home and sleep so that the best team will win the games.
The NTA will beam live the match day 21 fixture between Kano Pillars and Katsina United on Sunday at 4 p.m. In tennis, world number 1 Rafael Nadal broke John McEnroe's 34-year-old record for successive set wins on a single surface, beating Diego Schwartzman 6-3, 6-4 on clay to take his winning streak to 50 sets in a row en route to the quarterfinals of the Madrid Open. Meanwhile, women's world number 1 Simona Halep became the latest big casualty at the Madrid Open